now I'm thinking of the words, the Chippendale Rescue Rangers.
Chippendales was naked men, wasn't it?
No, Chip and Dale was a cartoon.
It was the seminal rodent crime fighting and solving cartoon of an era.
They were unstoppable.
Yeah. Well, I stayed away from all of it just in case.
I heard seminal. He's like, yeah, I'm out.
I don't need to be part of it at all. I mean, it's fine. I'll miss a cartoon. Fine.
And now you're telling me there's chipmunks involved? No, I want no fucking part of that.
No idea which one's which. I don't want to get mixed up in any nefarious activities, you know?
There's a random, like, cute mouse gadget.
Starting to reel me back in with this cute mouse business.
Sights and sounds and edges found. You will now get down with the Underground, the show that goes to the depths of the Dynasty landscape. Dynasty Underground is back. I am Trav hosting and West Coastin'. Of course, we're posted up on the Undroppables YouTube channel and find us on your favorite audio platforms. And I am joined, as usual, by the wise man, one Jax Falcone, who, as the Miyagi of the Undroppables, may or may not catch a fly out of thin air tonight.
Ooh.
How are you tonight, brother?
I mean, if I catch a fly, it would be the second most impressive thing I've done this week because I am now 8th in the Scott Fish Bowl. So just flexing a little bit. I can't even believe it. I think it's lucky as hell, but it's there, baby.
No, dude, I think it was the process because we talked a lot about it going in. We were talking during our drafts in the group chat and stuff, and hats off to you for how it's playing out in that Scott Fish Bowl. Seeing that little stamp beside your name when you sent the screenshot that says clinched was very cool to see, and seeing you in the top 10 just, I think, made all of us on Undroppables proud to see our man up there. So well done, buddy. It's a nice run, man. And let's just win that fucking thing. Let's go. Let's go. And back in the corner office with the view after a very, very busy week. He is ready to talk some fantasy football. Pinkies up, ladies and gentlemen. Joe Quavius Kuvatakis is back. What's going on, buddy? We missed you.
I missed you guys too. Although I do have to yell at you guys. I was listening to the pod last week, and obviously great. Thank you, Wiz, for stepping in yet again. But I don't know, guys. I feel like you actually really need me. There was some nonsense spewed. You guys were throwing out rather have Matthew Golden than Jaden Higgins takes. I'm sorry. I was screaming in my car when I heard that. I was like, these are not the men that I've been podcasting with for almost a year. What are we talking about? Somebody needed to knock you guys back into your senses. So we're going to do that tonight. We're going to talk about these rankings.
I like it, Joe. And your stance came to fruition in week 8 because Christian Watson was back. Matthew Golden didn't do much at all. And so and Jaden Higgins did do some stuff with Houston, scored a touchdown, in fact. And so maybe we were tripping a little bit. I think we were talking a little bit about the buy price. So I'm not sure I appreciate your tone and yelling at us right off the hop, Joe, but that's okay. We can accept it. And we are absolutely glad to have you back. It's going to be a fun episode. There's going to be lots of good conversation. It's a mid-season Dynasty rankings episode, boys, a summit of sorts. And I know it's not quite mid-season. Next week would be mid-season, but we wanted to get into it. These are fun episodes. We always get into some debates and we try to take each other off of our rankings or move each other a little bit. And quite often we are making rankings adjustment on the fly based on the conversation that we have on these shows. So I think it's going to be really fun, boys. We got some questions baked here. We're also going to let our hair down and just pluck some players out of our rankings and talk about them. I'm excited to do that. I'm super excited. So thanks to all of our listeners for tuning in. Stick around. It's going to be a fun show. And make sure you subscribe to that YouTube channel because we're putting them out weekly and we are having a good time doing it. Okay, boys. All right. We're going to start with the wide receivers. We kind of wanted to switch it up. You know, a lot of times it goes quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. Wide receiver is probably one of the sexier positions, or definitely one of the sexier positions for us. I debate running back as well, but wide receiver has a lot more names. And so I think it was good for us to start there. And I was just thinking, to stay on brand, boys, why don't we start by checking in on the rookies and then start talking about some of the sophomores after, because we've been doing these rookie heat checks all season long. And so why don't we put these rookie heat checks in to our Dynasty rankings, boys. And I kind of want to talk a little bit about Tet McMillan because he's having kind of a diamond in the rough run a little bit for the Carolina Panthers. He's looked good from some underlying metrics. He hasn't really had a big pop-off game just yet. That team is crumbling around him. But as I look at my Dynasty rankings here, boys, I have Tet McMillan as my Dynasty wide receiver 12, right behind fellow rookie Emeka Egbuka at 11. What do you guys think about that ranking for Tet inside the top 12? I think through our conversation, I don't think you guys are too far off of me on that, but I'm happy to hear any counters and maybe how you got him up to where you got him. Jax, let's start with you, brother.
Yeah, what's interesting is I have him right there at 11 and 12 too. Tet at 12. I look, I think what we've learned about Tet McMillan is he's good. I mean, there's definitely some issues there. Obviously, Andy Dalton was a nightmare, and Bryce Young has been a bottom 10 quarterback, for the better part of 2 years for sure. So he hasn't had great quarterback play. The team is not all that good. There's just limitations to what he can absolutely do in that offense. But yeah, I think he's really, really good. I mean, imagine if you were playing the George Pickens role in Dallas or whatever, you can put him in a million spots where you'd be like, dude, I bet you that would be fun. Not so much fun in Carolina where they're not scoring points, not advancing the football, not converting first downs and giving him more opportunities. He is, however, the clear number one, so he gets a lot of targets. But I think it's been clear that he's good. I don't know exactly what the ceiling is until things change around him, but yeah, I'm happy to roster him. And what is he like? In fantasy right now, he's like probably a wide receiver 2 overall. So yeah, it's fine.
Points per game, he is wide receiver 30 right now, but yeah, overall he's probably within that 24-ish for sure.
Yeah, right.
He's averaging 12.53 points per game, which is pretty firmly like wide receiver 2 territory. His expected fantasy points per game is 14.29, so that's like, higher end wide receiver 2. Plus, you add the age and everything. I think you guys aren't too far off. I'm a little bit lower than you two. I've got him at 15, although I'm looking at some of the names. My mind can easily be changed, and I can easily push him up ahead of
What are the names?
Guys. I'm sorry?
What are the names?
The names ahead of him in my rankings. Like right now, I've got Garrett Wilson just ahead of him at 14, Lad McConkey at 13, Nico Collins at 12. I could probably sandwich him in there somewhere. Probably need to move Lad down and him up just based on target competition. But yeah, it really is like, they're peppering him with targets. It's just the offense. I don't know. Some weeks they look fine. Other weeks they are an absolute catastrophe. He's getting targeted either way, 0.23 targets per route run, just under 2 yards per route run. So he's like pretty close to the benchmarks we want to see. And, not, clearly number one in the pecking order. So I think it's wheels up and he's on like a healthy trajectory. So should probably be a little higher.
Yeah. He's like, I think the beauty of it is we like to see these guys shine in these dumpster fire situations. You mentioned Garrett Wilson, and he's that guy that we've been saying could be sneaky better than the market is giving him because he's been in shitty situations before and done it. So why can't he do it now? And if you look at some of the stuff that Tet's got, he's 10th in percentage of his team's yards with 32.4. So that's a big share. He's 8th in red zone targets with 9. I just wrote up a column for True North, and so I got some of these kind of on hand, boys. But 10th in receiving yards, and he's 13th in first read targets. So absolute priority no matter what. And so I think going forward from a dynasty perspective, that can give us a little bit confidence in this ranking that it's hard to see the situation getting much worse. And so if it does get better, then that ceiling gets a little bit higher for Tet. Absolutely.
First capitulation of the net. I moved him up 2 spots.
Very good. Very good. And so since we're sticking rookies and we talked about him already, let's talk about Emeka because he has had maybe a little bit tougher couple of weeks the last couple, but still producing a little bit and still kind of showing himself to be the guy that we think. I don't think some bumps and speed bumps in year one are necessarily going to move me off of what we've already seen from him. I don't know if anybody else has bumped him down from recent performances, but I don't think it's going to be long before he gets back clicking anyway. What are we seeing here, boys? Jax, I know that you obviously have him at 11. Where do you have Egbuka, Joe?
I've got him at 9, actually. I'm surprised
Nice.
the highest on him. But I think he's answered every question. I know people have pointed to like his separation score. We talked about that on an episode a few weeks back, just like, what does that even mean and where the flaws can be in that for a player like Egbuka. What's important is he's getting targeted, 0.25 targets per route run, and his yards per route run is 2.28. So like those are really strong numbers. His expected fantasy points are right there around Tet, but the difference is he's scoring a little bit higher than his expected fantasy points. So the production is there, and he was earning it right away when Mike Evans was on the field. Like, when Chris Godwin was on the field, he has immediately carved out a role for himself. He's indispensable in this offense. Playing through injury on top of that, like, I don't know what's not to love about this dude. The UN model loved him, and that has proven to be prophetic.
Yeah, I think the one thing I'm not sure that you did there when you moved Tet up, did you move him ahead of Ladd and Garrett Wilson, but not ahead of Nico Collins?
No, I've got him ahead of Nico Collins as well.
Yeah, because for me, Nico is further down now. I mean, right
I
now,
just did that actually.
yeah, I'm just super, nervous about Nico in this offense as it is right now. And then he's 26. Next year he's 27. We've been through this before. All of a sudden you're behind the eight ball with a guy like that. I definitely want, Garrett Wilson, Ladd McConkey, Tet, Romadunze, Mecca, and then I get to a player like even like Chris Olave, and I'm like, I think I might want Chris Olave over Nico Collins. It's certainly close enough. And if I can trade Nico for Olave plus, I'm doing it everywhere I can. That being said, I mean, even Brian Thomas Jr. over Nico, I mean, they're both a little bit troubled, but I mean, Brian Thomas has like 4 or 5 years on him. So I think, and I'll throw another one. How about George Pickens or Nico Collins? I feel like, I had this conversation with Theo today, and it's just like, dude, Pickens needs to be recognized. He is the wide receiver 3 overall in points scored for the season. I don't think he's there on a points per game basis, but nonetheless, a wide receiver 1 in this offense. I think some of that is because obviously CD was not there, but he just put up numbers again alongside CD against a tough defense in Denver. I think he's just a good player, and I'm ready to just sort of call it on Pickens as being at least a T. Higgins type player, which makes him pretty close to a Nico Collins type player. They're not that far apart in terms of who they are as a player. I think if you swap Nico and George Pickens could do, what Nico's done in Houston, or am I crazy?
Well,
No, I think that's fair, but I think for me where they aren't swapped is that they are still in these roles on these teams, and we have to account for that, right? Like, I think they are good players and can be interchangeable from that talent, maybe skill set, maybe usage perspective, but I don't think the teams are necessarily using them, and they're not necessarily in the same situations. So I have a little bit of a gap between T and Pickens, I think are fine, but where I would have a little bit of a gap from Nico is that I know Nico can be that target hog number 1 and is likely to be for the Texans, whereas Pickens is going to have Lamb ahead of him, T is going to have Chase ahead of them, and that's where that little edge goes for me from Nico. But as we've talked here, boys, I moved Nico down 4 spots from 10 above Egbuka to 14 behind Egbuka, Tet, BTJ, and Garrett Wilson. So I have Nico Collins at 13 because I see some of those concerns. His injuries do crop up every season, and I have a lot of faith in those 2 rookies that are behind him. So if those guys are starting to take some sort of targets, I think that's where Nico could falter a little bit. So I think Nico is probably only sliding back as opposed to forward. Whereas I could see Pickens bumping up a little bit. Like, him and Higgins are only a couple spots apart at like 18, 19 for me, but I don't quite have them on the level of Nico at a 14, if that makes sense. So my gap's just a little bigger. And that was a long way to get there, boys. Sorry.
all I heard is your gap's a little bigger.
Okay. Get your mind out of the gutter, Joe, you pervert.
So a lot to unpack there. Sorry, I just keep doing it.
You said doing it.
All right. So with Nico Collins, I mean, the difference is we've seen him be the number 1 like for an entire season. The concerning thing, to Jack's point, is like, he's in his mega production years right now. He's in his super prime right now. And this is kind of feeling like a little bit of a lost season thus far. He can certainly get back on track, and we'll see how things unfold the rest of the way, but it feels like it's a lost season. And, his breakout was 2 years ago, right?
Yep.
Same trajectory that Pickens is on, really. And Pickens, you can blame the entire thing on situation as well, right? And the interesting thing about Pickens, like I've got him at 18, so I've got Nico well ahead of him. I think just giving him respect and thinking that, he's going to pick it back up. But the interesting thing about Pickens is he's a free agent after this year too, right? And when CD was out, he had no problem being a target hog. And when he had a quarterback and an offense that could actually get him the ball, he was a mega producer himself. So, who's to say Pickens stays in Dallas? I think, if you had asked us all a few weeks ago, it's like, yeah, he should stay here as long as possible. But if he goes to another good situation, kind of becomes the de facto number one. I mean, it's kind of like the T. Higgins thing, just to tie it all together. It's kind of like the T. Higgins thing we were talking about last year before he re-signed with the Bengals as well, right? So
right. Better for the Bengals, not as good for T in his fantasy, outlook. Same thing with Pickens. Pickens likely also to follow the same route as T and probably get tagged.
I got a half take. Pickens is better off staying in Dallas as the number 2 than being the number 1 on a worse offense, because I think there's only a few offenses that are going to be better for him. And if he goes somewhere and is quote unquote the clear number 1 and his targets start to fluctuate or his production starts to fluctuate or his quarterback play starts to fluctuate, that's where George Pickens' head case is going to come back into play. I see him on Dallas, and the fact that he knows there is an alpha target in front of him, he's probably not going to play as many of those head games because he knows his place a little bit better. You know what I mean? And so a bit of a half take, very, very narrative-y, but I think for somebody like George Pickens, you want to find avenues to keep the head case out of it. And
Green Bay could use an alpha.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I'm picking up what you're putting down, Trav, and I think I agree with you. I'm trying to think of a situation that would be better. It's hard to, there's no point in speculating on this stuff. It's just the possibility is there.
Yes.
Right? So there's upward ability in his ranking for sure.
Totally. And even what he's doing in Dallas right now is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So boys, I have a concession to make to you guys. The guy that I have right behind Nico Collins and potentially moving up after what we've seen already is a guy that I was dogging you guys in the offseason for being way too steamy on. And that would be the returning Rashee Rice, boys. I have him as my dynasty wide receiver 15 now. I am considering moving him up.
You might want to.
Where do you guys have Rashee Rice?
I want to hear Joe's first.
I believe I've got him at 8. Hang on. Let's see. I've got him at 8. And I think I've pretty much, I don't think I even moved him that much. Like, that's kind of where I had him. It was just like, all right, 6 games. When he comes back, he's a wide receiver 1, right? Like,
okay.
I have him at 8.
Where you got him?
8.
8 as well. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, because it's like there's the God tier and then the sort of secondary God tier, and it's like Chase, Puka, Justin Jefferson, JSN now in the God tier, and then the Amon-Ra, CD, and the injured Malik Neighbors rounds out the top 7. I think after that, it's like you're looking at all sorts of names, going, wait, who's the wide receiver 8? And then you go, wait, it's Rashee Rice, because Rashee Rice is going to score me fantasy points. He's young and he's tied to Patrick Mahomes. Why do I got to think hard about this one? This one's easy. It's Rashee Rice. So yeah, I think it's Rashee Rice. Do I think he's the 8th best wide receiver in the NFL? I do not.
From a dynasty perspective, I think he's number 8.
I'm going to have to give it a couple more weeks before I get that steamy. I still think you guys are up there on him, but and I mean, I understand it too, right? What he's come in and done already is absolute like top 5 wide receiver shit. So I root for him for sure, but I'm just a little bit worried about the Chiefs kind of target tree conundrum eventually rearing its ugly head. But stay tuned.
That next tier for me is Rashee. That's the tier I've got Egbuka in. And then, like Jack said, it's after the 2 God tiers, if you will. And then right after that, Trav, I'm going to return the favor. I put Rome Odunze where he belongs. Where you tried to tell us to stay all off season, but I got in my own head about the whole situation, and Rome has proven that he belongs right there in the wide receiver 1, back part of wide receiver 1.
Absolutely.
Ranking.
Yep.
I got him at 9. I got him at wide receiver 9, so
that's fair.
I love it. Mama knows, girl. Hercules. I had to pull that one out on the show.
That's great. It's fantastic.
So thank you for obliging, fellas. Thank you for obliging and serving that on a silver platter for me, Joe. I appreciate that. So that's a sophomore wide receiver, actually. So who else we got? BTJ. He's like, he's starting to look better the last couple weeks, right? I've got him at 12. And he's kind of floating in that area. Like, I'm not ready to give up on last season. And kind of similarly to, or kind of conversely to how I said that the talent is one thing and the situation is another. And yes, we think that talents can replace each other, but they don't because of the situations they're in. That was ugly. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
BTJ is one where I'm just relying on the talent because I think his talent is incredible. We've seen flashes of it this season. We also have seen some terrible play, some contact avoidance, and some terrible targets from Trevor. All sorts of bad stuff has been kind of happening around BTJ, which I think makes it hard to decipher, which is why I'm holding firm, guys. I think it's harder for me to pin this on him, and so I think I'm just sticking. What do you guys say to that?
I would love to say that I was right about selling BTJ at top 6 prices. I just never saw that as being sustainable. Certainly more than likely he would fall from that perch. And that was correct. So, I mean, I feel very, very good about my off-season BTJ take. Never once did I say he's not a good football player. Never once did I say any of that. I thought that there was a chance that Travis Hunter could come in and be a target hog, potentially. Not a bad player. Could have been possible that Travis Hunter was better than BTJ. I don't know that we even know that scenario and who's the alpha, in a year and a half or something, middle of next season, who's going to be earning more targets and the number one there, still undetermined. BTJ does look awesome when he's trying, but yeah, the whole thing there with Trevor has been a nightmare. So yeah, for a lot of reasons, there was uncertainty going in. Also, no more kingmaker Mac Jones to, make him prop him up and get him the targets he needs. But in all seriousness, we really did see him perform altogether differently with Mac Jones than he did with Trevor Lawrence early in the season last year. It's back to not as good with Trevor. Look, this could be a Trevor problem for sure. Well, I'm ready to throw in every towel I've got on Trevor Lawrence, but BTJ kind of goes along with him, and being a bit of an outside player. Sometimes some of these quarterbacks have a harder time getting them the football, or a harder time holding on to the football, which is not really Trevor's problem, but also a harder time sort of prioritizing them. There's a number of issues with getting them the football, whereas guys who play a little closer to the line of scrimmage are a little easier to sort of bank the production. It's maybe, as you sometimes point out, Trav, sometimes not as much ceiling, but sometimes there is too, But I understand what your point is there. But yeah, BTJ, definitely a slippery slope. At this point, maybe it's a buy back in.
Well, rumor has it, he's on the trade block with the deadline coming up.
Saw that.
I'm sure Jacksonville probably wants to recoup some first round draft capital.
I think it's fake news.
Their very drunk offseason.
It has to be.
Hear me out.
Okay, sorry.
BTJ playing alongside someone like Malik Neighbors.
We could do this till we're blue in the face, though, right? Like, there's probably 20 other situations that would be dope for him. I don't think he's getting traded.
There's one spot for sure would be dope. The best deep ball passer in the NFL, Drake Maye. Seriously,
I'd love that.
Whew,
that'd be insane.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be insane.
That'd be insane. Yeah, I'd probably take my pants off on that one for sure.
Oh boy.
Yeah, what are you talking about? You haven't had pants on for weeks, Jax.
What's that about?
Yeah. You haven't even been wearing pants for the last
BTJ, what'd you say?
All right. So I feel like I was probably the highest on him in the offseason. And now the funny thing is I'm looking at our rankings and I've swung the furthest the other way and I've got him down to like 16. So maybe I'm just being reactive or feel like a scorned lover or something like that. But you bring up an interesting point, though. It's like, all right, is this a buy low opportunity? And what's the going rate for a BTJ these days?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not getting.
I don't think a single first gets it done.
Probably not. Yeah, so I mean, it'd be kind of tough to buy at that because of the risk too, right? Like, I don't know if I'd be buying for a ton more than a first, other than like maybe a young player who hasn't shown it yet.
You know what's crazy? I'm just looking at Keep Trade Cut. They still have him as wide receiver 13, just behind that sort of Tet, Rashi, Adunze, London, Ibuka tier, which they have the same way we do. I mean, not the same order, but that tier after the God tier. They have him at wide receiver 13 ahead of Nico, Garrett Wilson, Ladd, Pickens, right? And I'm wondering if it's still a sell window for this guy. I mean, I don't know, man, but I would certainly be interested in. I don't know how far. Look, Garrett Wilson's the player that I think gets slept on so much. Like, I was gonna trade Garrett Wilson in a league I'm in. It's a big buy-in, and I was like, I forgot who we were targeting. It doesn't matter, but I was like, wait a minute, I don't even want to get rid of Garrett Wilson. Like, he's so good. Like, what am I doing getting rid of Garrett Wilson? Like, I understand that the situation is bad, but he's still only 25 years old. Please, something's got to change at some point for
You're
Garrett
gonna be
Wilson.
the first overall pick. You're gonna probably try and get a young new quarterback in there.
You would think, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's the issue with
Okay,
Garrett Wilson, right? It's not target earning ability or skill. Can we at least admit that?
It's just the uncertainty of situation.
For sure. Thank you.
But he keeps producing year over year, so good on him.
Yes.
Another sophomore, boys. What the fuck are we doing with Marvin Harrison Jr.? I have him right now at wide receiver 19 behind George Pickens.
Same.
But I almost feel like I could be like, I feel like if anything, that's high, not low.
Right.
And that is absolutely wild. Joe, where do you have Marv?
I've got him at 21. I moved Waddle and Addison ahead of him. My half take is Marvin Harrison Jr. is the Trevor Lawrence of wide receivers, right?
It's just like,
that's such a good
this is
take.
what it's feeling
Oh
like.
my
It's like,
God.
it's supposed to be the next great thing. Prince that was promised, all of that. And
Right.
I don't know, just a whole lot of meh.
Right.
So much meh.
So much meh.
Like,
maybe they should play together.
Yeah.
Get Trevor to Arizona. That'd be where he needs to play.
Oh my God. And both of them doing it on the Arizona Cardinals could not be more fitting either. Hey,
Yeah.
Like, just ultra nobody cares anymore.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, you're going out here to die, boys. Ugh, man.
I actually think those
Cheating
two
cool.
might be a pretty good fit together.
Oh my God, Joe. Yeah. I mean,
right?
Yeah,
Trade
they've gone
BTJ
through
for
some
Marvin
of the
Harrison.
same shit.
Wow, BTJ for Marvin Harrison. That would be so sick. But no, wait. Or Kyler Murray for Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor for Kyler? That'd be crazy.
That's the way I want to see it go. Just two shitbags that everybody hates for one another with contracts nobody likes. Like everybody hates everything about these two guys and their situation and what they do for their team. Just swap their asses. I like it.
Yeah, both franchises making trades to just not improve or get worse at all. Just
it still sucks, but a different guy.
Here's another hot take. I think no, we're on wide receivers, but I think it's time for Trevor Lawrence to cut his hair, dude. I'm sorry. Coming into next season, he better cut his hair. All right, it's not working anymore. We're all tired of it. You got to play well.
So tired of it.
You got to look a little tougher out there. Like, shave those fucking Goldilocks, man.
It's not that bad under the helmet, but when he's like hanging out after, you're like, what the fuck is this? Like, it's super like conditioned and whatnot. Like,
it's like wispy and shining and stuff like that. And he's all just like,
it's way
doing
too
this.
I'm out. Everything about him, I'm out.
It's cringy. Couldn't be further out. Yep, I agree.
Guys, I feel like I'm being a little bit greedy because I'm just kind of going through my rankings and picking some. So you guys are free to as well. But Michael Pittman Jr. has come back up, and he's my wide receiver 24.
There we go.
And I'm pretty excited about what he's been doing. We've talked about how that offense became more predictable, ipso facto better for fantasy, which means that we can target Tyler Warren, we can target Michael Pittman, target Jonathan Taylor and Danny Dimes, and that's it. We don't have to worry about 5 different mouths to feed. It's not like a Green Bay situation that's happening necessarily anymore. So all of that is good signs for Michael Pittman Jr. Got paid by the Colts, I believe, as well. So things are looking up there. 24, pretty reasonable, boys. What do you think?
I totally agree. Look, can I help you with something? Because this is going to be so amazing. This is our listeners. Who knows? Like, you may be in a league where this is still possible, because I'm looking at the current keep trade cut. And let me just name for you the 4 players who are ahead of him. They have Michael Pittman at wide receiver 33. And the 4 players ahead of him, I think, are hilarious. Are you ready? Jamison Williams. I mean, is the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life. Number 1.
Terrible.
Matthew Golden.
Terrible.
Quentin Johnston. And Ricky Pearsall. Like,
oh my goodness. So that,
you could trade any of those 4 guys for Michael
keep
Pittman.
trade cut is humans. So our listeners aren't necessarily making those rankings. So this is, I guess, an edge that we give you. Edge is found, folks.
You could probably trade for Michael Pittman with one of those guys and get profit.
Matthew Golden for Pittman, like, is insane.
Plus profit, yeah.
So here's the funny thing is, I've got Michael Pittman way lower than you guys.
What?
I'm happy to say I've got all those players that you just named, Jax, lower than that.
Right.
I've got Pittman at 37 right now. So I'm like way off from you guys. I know he had that dope catch, probably maybe one of the catches of the year on Sunday, but like, all right.
Did he fuck your wife or something?
Huh? I think I'm getting a little high on my own supply here, but I've got like Troy Franklin, Luther Burden, and Jaden Higgins ahead of him. And the way I did this was just like,
too early, Joe.
It's a dynasty team. Who would I rather have? Who do I value more? But I don't know if that's the right approach here. There's something
you're not
obvious production.
With that. You're not valuing now at all. And what I will say though, Joe, is as you start getting,
but he's also the wide receiver 7.
Yeah. And so I think where it gets, and this is kind of more process stuff, because you guys know this, right? When it gets deeper into the rankings, that's what we're kind of doing, right? I know for me, I have maybe tiers of younger guys with similar upside, and then there's tiers of older guys with similar upside. And honestly, there's spots where I could take a tier of 4 dudes and I could swap the older guys with the younger guys, or vice versa. And I could see there being justification in that, right? And so I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that. I disagree with your ranking of Pittman, I would say, like specifically the player. But I think as far as that theory in the rankings of having those chunks of youth above these guys, I don't necessarily disagree with that in all situations.
Yeah.
I just think what I'm saying is you're maybe a little bit too high in your rankings for me to be doing that, because here I'm still valuing right now production a lot more when we're in that, 24 to maybe even back to 48, you know what I mean? Because as the wide receiver rankings get deeper, once you get past 36, I mean, you could talk to 20 different analysts and my 52 could be all of their 36, you know what I mean? Depending on how they think. Because they think even that Troy Franklin, I love what he's doing. I wouldn't be quite ready to rank him inside my top 36 just yet.
Yeah, what I will say, and I'm going to move him up. You've already talked me into it, but I will say is this, he is averaging 15.7 points per game. His expected fantasy points per game are only 11.14, which basically puts him in wide receiver 3 territory, right? Yep. His targets per route run and yards per route run number are both above the thresholds we want to see, almost 25% targets per route run and 2 yards, just over 2 yards per route run. So like those are fine indicators. Like he's still very efficient. Yeah. I mean, I'm just looking at it. I can get him as high as like 27 pretty easily just by bypassing this tier of young guys I'm excited about.
Correct.
I guess that's the disconnect kind of between our rankings, and I guess it depends on how you're looking at the assets. So I think that's fair, and you're probably right. I need to give them a little more respect.
It's preference, right? Just like keep them back there if that's your preference, right?
No, yeah, it makes sense, and it probably depends on what kind of league you're in. Like, deep starting roster, deep starting lineup, you're going to want to value Michael Pittman much higher. A shallow start 8, start 9, maybe start 10. You start to stay there's a little bit of,
Swing from
what do
our
I need?
upside.
Yeah. What do I need, McLaurin and Pittman and players like this for? Sutton, they don't even crack my lineup because I'm playing such a shallow, I'm only playing 2 wide receivers and 1 flex or something like that, right? So certain types of rosters, these guys actually don't have a ton of value in that way. But I will say, since 2021, he was 129 targets, 141 targets, 156 targets in 2024 with Anthony Richardson and whoever else, 111 targets, and that was the letdown year. He was like wide receiver 15, wide receiver 23, wide receiver 15. Last year, wide receiver 43. Huge letdown year. This year, now back up to wide receiver 7. I agree that's a little bit over his value. He's probably a wide receiver 2 type player, but I think there's room for upward mobility. They've been kind of dog rolling everybody, so they really haven't had to pass it very much, right? They've been a wagon. JT just runs it into the end zone every time, so they really haven't had to pass too much. They could get into some scripts where I think Pittman is their go-to guy, and he's certainly their red zone target. So for a lot of reasons, I think he's still a viable player. For how many more years is a fair question because he's 28. But I don't know.
I think there's 2 conversations here. One is like, 27-year-old player in their super prime has a huge letdown of a year. And maybe I fell into the trap of, we all saw him as a buy low. I think we all ended up with him on our Scott Fishbowl teams, right? It's like he's a screaming buy from that standpoint. But in terms of like perceived value, it's like hard for a guy to recover once they hit 28 years old after a big like letdown year like that. So I think that's at work. But then I also just want to express to the listener the futility and kind of almost stupidity of linear rankings, because like, once we get into, it's like, yeah, exactly what you're saying. Like, what is the league? What is your team's preference? What are you trying to do? And like, how do you value these assets? Right. So it's like a big range. It's like, yes, all right, there's the dudes at the top that can draw the most value in terms of draft capital and, or, make a huge difference on your team. And then you get to a huge tier of like, this is literally the personal preference section.
Yes.
Well, and I think where that comes into play, and we were talking about these tiers and stuff, is we're doing these mid-season right now, but a lot of times when people are using these, they'll be applying them in a startup draft, right? Which is where you might want to go for youth at your wide receiver 3. So not only does it like depend on your league format, also depends maybe on, if you're using them in a startup, how you've drafted ahead. Because if I have some of that young upside ahead, I might want to go for a safety of Michael Pittman. If I have that safety already, I might take some of those younger guys, Joe, like you have. So that's why I think your point of these aren't necessarily just linear rankings. Find those tiers of similar upside, similar archetypes, and you could swap those out based on what your needs are if you're applying.
And it's also just like we do with the prospecting. It's good to talk about it because when Joe says he has them that much further down, I start to think, wait a minute, he is 28. He is, you start to make the anti case, which is like, I could easily sell against having him at 24 just as much as I could sell for. And you start to go, wait a minute, maybe I'm a little too high here. But I think that's what hearing each other out is, and having Joe say he's at 37 is not wrong. It's also to the point that he had the same guys that we thought was a little bit crazy behind that too. So it's you can see where his wheels are turning.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think we talked about this in the offseason, though, right? It's like startup season versus in-season rankings and how much that changes, right? And that's I think a little bit of the dichotomy where when I was going through this, I was probably thinking about it from an off-season standpoint as opposed to in-season where the production is way more valuable.
Now. And then that's what I look at too. Like, there's certain players, it's like, is the production juice worth the squeeze? It's like, what's Debo doing right now? It's like, man, is that worth the squeeze, or am I just chasing hopes and dreams? It's like, whereas Pittman, wait, he's actually coming through. It is worth it because he's giving me what I need, and I think that's kind of the hard part, is you'd never quite know how long it's going to last. And then, of course, injuries, I talked about selling Mike Evans. I was trying to sell Mike Evans in a league right before the game where he hurts himself. I'm like, yeah, he's awesome. And then I looked and he's playing great and going down, and then he's dead. Like he literally looked like he was dead on the field. They had to pick him up and everything. I was like, oh Jesus, this is terrible. And so, you there's so many factors that come into play, obviously.
100%. Okay, boys, what do you say we move us into the quarterbacks? Anybody got another wide receiver they want to talk about, or are we moving along?
I have one more wide receiver I want to talk about. Well,
Okay.
You have one too. All right, let's do Boutte first.
Yeah, I mean,
Jax.
I asked the question pre-show, and you guys kind of, who would you rather have, Kayshon Boutte or Keon Coleman? And it's like, I think it's
Kayshon.
Boutte, isn't it? Like, it's Boutte.
I think so.
Pretty easily.
I think I would say that while it is definitely Boutte over Keon Coleman, I would say those guys are fairly low enough ranked for me where they're not as significant, right? Because I think Coleman's going to end up being a nothing. And I love what Boutte has done this year, but I do think over the coming years, he probably is going to get his job taken. They love him. They love him being on the field. But if they're retooling around Drake Maye, I do think they're going to want to maybe get some more pedigree and some more ultimate upside out of their wide receiver position. So love what Boutte is doing. And if he does keep it going for a few years, that's fantastic. But I'm just skeptical as to whether, he has what it takes to really lock that down as an alpha for a few years.
All right. The one I want to talk about, Trav, you're actually messing up our consensus rankings on the website.
Nice.
What? You have Troy. Why do you have Troy Franklin?
This is probably fake, Joe. No, he's not at 62. He's not at 62. He is up in.
Oh, you know what? This is not updated. Okay.
All right. Yeah, Joe. Fucking.
I'm sorry. Well, you know what? It's not updating. I'm sorry. Yeah. Where do you have for Franklin?
Hold on. Let me find him. I've got him up 39 or so. 39. So he's outside that top 30. It's not that far back off of yours, actually. Okay. I was kind of dogging you a second ago, but I got him above Khalil Shakir, above Brandon Ayuk. Got him just above Higgins and Burden, which felt kind of weird, but he's looking awesome. And Bo Nix is looking like that kind of chemistry is coming in from the Oregon days. So it's happening. I want it. I definitely want it. I've just been skeptical, Joe.
Yeah, fair enough. That's an acceptable number. You're still too low, but I'll accept in the 30s. All right. The only other one I want to mention, I know you want.
Hold on. Jax.
I want to know where you have him, Joe.
Oh, I've got him at 30.
Okay. I feel good. I've got him at 29. So somehow I'm still.
Wow, you guys are steaming. I love it. I mean,
hold on. Let's talk about Troy Franklin first.
He's a hard player to rank, to be honest with you, because
very hard.
There are times. First of all, he's not the wide receiver one on his team. He's not. That's Sutton, but sometimes it's not Sutton. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'm not sure. So he kind of is. Is he going to be the wide receiver one on this team like next year, or is he just the wide receiver two, and there'll be a different wide receiver? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know exactly if he elevates.
Well, so he's actually earning.
I just don't think a team is going to trust his size profile to be their alpha number one target hog without trying to have some other size brought in there. And that's the scary thing about him. And like, I know that he can produce even on more limited targets, but if we're ranking him as the wide receiver 29-30, we're saying that in the next few years, he is going to be the absolute alpha for that team, I think. And I'm just not sure that's going to happen.
He is actually beating Sutton in targets per route run. And I believe, let's see, air yard share is, he's beating Sutton.
You know what this kind of reminds me of?
What?
You know what this kind of reminds me of? When you guys were telling me about Marvin Mims' breakout season last year.
Yeah, Marvin Mims never did this. He never did this.
He was doing cool shit, though.
He was, but he wasn't.
There was comparisons to what he was doing on a smaller sample versus Sutton and stuff. And I think Troy Franklin is much better than Marvin Mims. And I love Troy Franklin. This is still a Troy Franklin household. I just think that is a little bit steamy on a guy that may or may not ever be the top target getter consistently on this team. Because if him and Sutton are going to be flip-flopping week over week, I don't think we can rank him that high.
You take the younger guy that's producing, earning targets at a higher rate, getting a slightly higher air yard share and has a dot at 12.7.
Right now he is. Right now he is. But is that going to sustain over the next couple of years to have him ranked ahead of some of these other guys that might have better sustainment opportunities? It's just a riskier bet on sustainment than some of the other guys around him, I think.
Sure.
Right?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
The other one I just wanted to mention is Cedric Tillman. He's been injured, so he's been out of sight, out of mind. I'm way higher than you guys on him. Have you guys noticed that Jerry Jeudy is not good?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yes.
Totally. He's still taking mad work, though.
I mean, he's getting a lot of cardio.
I mentioned him as a sell as well this offseason.
Yeah,
that was one of my biggest sells.
Jerry Jaggy, right? Jerry Jaggy.
It was so clear because he ran like 600 routes last year or whatever, like some stupid number, like 700 or something. The most routes ever, and then kind of got there. And people are like, look, he's ascending. It's like, no, he's the exact same guy he's always been, just had 2 seasons worth of work last year.
Mm-hmm. I think where I can't get, like, I don't have Tillman inside my top 40. I've got him just right around 50. And where I can't get him up from that is the fact that his work has all been on such a small sample as well. We don't know if this coaching staff is going to be there for the long term. We don't know what the quarterback situation is going to be for the long term. So I think if they keep quarterback carouseling it, I don't think the consistency and the rapport can come for Tillman to ever become what we think that he can be, Joe.
Where do you have him, Joe?
I've got him at 34, which is probably too high. I've got him in like the young ascending guys tier, basically. So I guess in my opinion, he's a buy low, especially now that he's injured. Maybe you can go get him for relatively cheap.
Totally is.
Do you have him? You have him ahead of Trey Harris?
I've got him. I believe I do. Hang on one sec.
You see what I mean? Like I've got him back to back with Trey Harris right around the 50 mark, and it's like I don't know.
I have them back to back.
I've got him ahead of Trey Harris. I've got him way ahead of Trey Harris. Yeah,
45 and 46.
Trey Harris, I've got in the 50s, like you, but no, I've got him kind of sandwiched between some vets and some exciting young guys.
Fun.
Maybe it's a call.
All right, boys. We're going to talk about some quarterbacks because we just put about a 40-minute shift in on the wide receivers, but it's a deep position group, so why not?
Quarterbacks is quick.
All I got to ask is Drake Maye the quarterback 1 in Dynasty, fellas?
We're
starting hot right off the top. Jax, I'm not even going to start with you yet. I'm going to let you percolate a little bit on that. Joe, is there a case to be made that Drake Maye is the quarterback 1 in fantasy football?
I think there's absolutely a case to be made. I sure would like it if he had an elite weapon to throw to. Right now, he's making it work with a bunch of non-elite guys, kind of a la Josh Allen. And, of course, he's got that rushing floor. It's so interesting because then I was looking at my rankings. It's like I did move Drake Maye up from 5 when I haven't touched these since September. I moved him up from 5 to 4. And I was looking at the top 3, Daniels, Allen, Lamar Jackson. I was like, Daniels been hurt. Jackson has been hurt. I really just don't feel like I should touch that yet. But it's an interesting question. I'm thinking pretty hard about it now that you said it.
I've got him at 3.
Ooh.
Wow. Over Jaden Daniels.
Welcome to the club, Trav.
Behind Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. I'm there, boys. I'm there. I'm also in a group chat with Jax and fucking Wiz.
Wow.
Who every morning, Wiz is on the East Coast, so every morning we wake up to Wiz feeding us more Drake Maye propaganda. It's something with Wiz, and then he's got some guy where it's like innuendo of some guy jizzing all over the place because he saw some Drake Maye stats. And I just think, Joe, what you said about us wanting an alpha for Drake Maye is actually a feather in his cap for this ranking because he's doing it with a misfit group of wide receivers. Kayshon Boutte, who we kind of thought was just a really good blocker, is actually a good receiver now because of Drake Maye. I think everything just points upwards for him. The offense is great for him. I had a tweet this week about Drake Maye saying that he ranks number 1 among 34 qualifying quarterbacks who have 100 plus dropbacks in completion percentage over expectation. I've been talking about this one all offseason and stuff. He's been good since last year. He's at 12.9%. I think the big thing about this The next best guy is only at 10.2%. So Drake Maye is 2.7%, which sounds small, but is large in this sample.
2.7 is large. I will tell you for sure.
Yeah. That's what my wife tells me.
Yeah, no, it's big. It's big.
He is number one with a 9.7% off target throw percentage. He's the only quarterback under 10% in that stat, boys. That's tight. And he's number one in accurate throw rate with 63.3%. And so my final note on that is hashtag good. So he's doing like all of these underlying things. These are some of my favorite, like completion percentage over expectations, one of my favorite quarterback metrics to look at. Then we see obviously the rushing. I don't even think he's hit ceiling at that yet. And so I think it's just wheels are going to be up. Wheels are going to be up, boys. And so maybe it's a predicting something that's not going to be here till 26 or 27. But I'm happy with making that stance early on this guy that we are all very steamy on. Wiz is going to listen to this and he is going to get so fired up. So Wiz, I know you're listening. I love you, brother.
Joe, did you see my trade in Dead Serious?
No.
What?
I've been busy, bro. Tell me about the trade.
Wow. Well, in Dead Serious, which is a wagon, just a wagon rolling. I started 0-3. I'm now 5-3. I'm like second or third in the league. I traded Jaden Daniels and a 26th third for Drake Maye and Troy Franklin.
I saw you tweet about that. I didn't realize that was in Dead Serious. Damn it.
Yep.
That's amazing.
You already have like a million quarterbacks in that league too. That's an incredible. You got Troy Franklin too. Yeah.
If we look at ADV of those assets, you got Troy Franklin for free. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think we know that the real value, Drake Maye and Jaden Daniels are pretty similar, if not like I have them, Jaden or Drake Maye over. But I think the market would probably perceive that you need to pay a little bit on top of Drake Maye to get Jaden Daniels.
Right.
And so I think you basically just got Troy Franklin for free out of that, who is your wide receiver 29, is Joe's wide receiver 30. So that was absolute mastery.
I'm just saying, Jax made that trade with like his best friend. This is I call shenanigans.
Oh, is that CMFK?
Yeah.
CMFK? Come on.
He's a Washington fan. So I I didn't exploit the collusionary friend thing because he would never do that for me. He wants me to lose more than he wants anything else in the world. But he also really likes Jaden Daniels. And I knew it. So I gave him the opportunity. Yeah, I exploited that. Yeah.
You guys didn't give your Drake Maye ranking, by the way.
I said I moved him up to 4 from 5.
Okay, yes. Yeah,
I've had about 5 since the summer.
Jax, where is he for you?
Well, I will tell you this. I did have this discussion openly at length with Theo on the Undrafted. So if you want more of the Drake Maye conversation, tune into Undrafted.
Oh, you tease. You little tease. I like it. Go check out Undrafted. That will be up this week, potentially before this one, but they're right around similar times-ish. Sticking with the quarterbacks, guys, do you have any new faces in your top 10 that you care to talk about? I have one.
Let's hear it.
Well, you guys might have him too. His name is Dart, bro. He's my quarterback 10. I'm not quite ready to put him up higher than that, although I can see that kind of upside in him. I just think there is still some avenues for some speed bumps for him. But everything's looking good, and he's still going to get a Malik Neighbors back in 2026. And so curious to hear where you guys have him.
I've got him at 7. And I really want to move him to 6 right now. So I'm just thinking about it. I'm just looking at it. Would I rather have him or Jalen Hurts long term? Jalen Hurts definitely this season.
So you have him above like the Herbert, Caleb, Burrow-ish type tier?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. How about you, Jax?
I have him just behind Herbert and Burrow. I mean, I love Jackson Dart, and the rushing upside is huge. I want to see a little bit more, right, of NFL sort of we're sure he's a good NFL quarterback. I'm pretty sure he is, which is why I have him as a top 10, dynasty quarterback. But yeah, I mean, I think if you're talking Herbert and Burrow, especially Herbert's been slinging it. He's been rushing as well. Like Herbert is just money. So I can't really have him ahead of Herbert, who's definitely a solved equation, has a long way to go in this league. Hurts, as you point out, I think he's up there just because, he's so freaking dominant in fantasy. I think he's behind all that. So I've met 9.
I think
yeah.
I think the last 2 games for Hurts have probably helped him a little bit, or else I might have dropped him a couple of spots, but we know that's still in their realm.
Yep.
I have Herbert 7, Burrow 8. I still got Caleb at 9, boys. I still got Caleb at 9.
I think I'm going to switch Herbert and Burrow. And Trav, bro, you need to get off of Caleb.
Yep, absolutely. Honestly, I would say this. Just if you're holding on to Caleb in any leagues, just go ahead and check the league and see if Trav's in it and sell Caleb directly to Trav immediately, because we did talk about Caleb on my podcast as well, and I just feel like there's definitely it's a creaky little floor, and I'm just a little bit nervous.
Totally.
A little bit nervous. So for those reasons, I think I think I'm staring at maybe moving Jordan Love ahead of Caleb Williams. And I'm not a big Jordan Love fan, but I think those two guys are in the same sort of category as for me. But Jordan Love's on a winning team with weapons. And I think the vibes are all good around Jordan Love. I think he's a little bit more of a sturdy asset going forward. Whereas Caleb, man, who knows? There's a lot of pundits, and you'll hear him talking I don't know, was it Bill Simmons or someone was like, we're going to see Tyson Bagent, starting later. And it's like, holy smokes. When that hits the mainstream, that sort of, I know Joe said that as kind of a joke earlier in the year, but when that hits mainstream, where I think they're kind of joking, half joking, I'm not sure if they're joking, but it's in the ethos. And that scares the hell out of me, especially for a quarterback that we're saying is a top 10 dynasty quarterback. Just too rich for me. I can't be there. Yeah,
I was half joking, but not really. I think I did walk it back a little bit after he looked better in week 2 and 3.
That.
But I mean, here's the thing that freaks me out about Caleb. He again just looks like when they're down or when there's a clock management time, right? When there's team management time, he seems overwhelmed. He seems nervous. He seems like he can't get the line of scrimmage together. There's just basic quarterbacking stuff that this dude isn't getting yet. And it's rookie stuff, but he's not a rookie anymore. So maybe it's just going to take a few more years, like a Sam Darnold, right? There's, again, no question about the talent, right? It took Darnold, 5-6 years, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm. That's a great comparison.
Go ahead, Joe.
I think eventually it's going to happen for this guy if he keeps getting chances and sticks with it and, whatever. He's in a good situation. They're a winning team right now. It might happen in the next couple of weeks, but he makes me really nervous.
It's nervous.
Chaos. It's chaos when he's trying to orchestrate the line of the line of scrimmage, especially in a 2-minute drill or something like that. It just seems like he does not have command, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm. I think, and for me, what I hang on to is just the offense that he's in, the fact that I think his leash is still going to be pretty long. And Jax, I totally get it, that that floor is very fickle, but I think that ceiling is just very high still. So it's, these guys, it's kind of preference too, right? We can all make cases here and there for all of them. And I do think he has similar rushing upside to Jackson Dart, right? I don't know if Jackson Dart's rushing upside is 700 yards in a season. I think it's probably more 500 yards tops in a season, but remains to be seen potentially.
Yeah,
especially with Malik Neighbors, right? He's not gonna need to tuck and run as much when Malik's back. So this one's gonna be fun, boys. I put it on here because I knew that it would be a very fun conversation, because the tune might be completely changed on this guy, Danny Dimes.
Yeah,
for the wagon, you know what I mean? And I'll tell you guys, I have him as my dynasty quarterback 17, but that is only on the assumption that there is no way the Colts are letting him get out of the building after what they've done this year. They have to re-sign him with what they've done. He is a perfect fit for Steichen. If I wasn't so confident about that, I'd probably have him a little bit lower, because it's kind of and Sam Darnold is kind of transcending it as well. But the sentiment around Sam Darnold that if he's out of that offense, he's going to be shit. Turns out he's actually been really good as well. I have him up at quarterback 19 as well. But Danny Dimes at 17, I don't want him out of this offense. Like, I don't want him on my team if he's out of this offense. You know what I mean? But right now, he is a phenomenal fantasy quarterback on the wagon. Colts. Am I a little steamy at 17 though, boys? Because it is a fucking scary one. Because before this season, I probably wouldn't even have had him in my top 30.
So I've got him. You mentioned Darnold and Jones, and I do look at them similarly as well. I've got Darnold at 19 and Jones at 20. 17, I'm curious who you have like right ahead of him and right behind him. But like to your point, yeah, he's definitely getting re-signed. I don't think he's going anywhere. And at the same time, I can't wait to bet against him come playoff time, right? And it's the same thing with Darnold too. So it's like I'm not like the demons are not fully exercised, but the regular season ones seem to be.
Yeah, who can we talked about. I actually asked Theo today, would you trade Caleb for Daniel Jones plus? Like, what's the plus look like to get to Daniel Jones? And like, who has the better 2-3 year window right now? Daniel Jones or Caleb Williams in fantasy? And that's a crazy question that I never even thought I'd say. But I do think there's like a little bit of like, when Daniel Jones does sign his big contract, and if he can continue some semblance of what he's been doing thus far this year for the rest of the season, like where does he slot in a startup? Probably in the 15 range is what Theo was telling me, and I kind of agree with it. I had a trade come into my inbox that was super interesting. It was Daniel Jones. I give up and I get Harold Fannin, and I was like, wait, I'm supposed to snap that. Like, I'm supposed to take Harold Fannin, but absolutely not. Like, I think Daniel Jones is going to go well ahead of a Harold Fannin type player in startups come this offseason. Like, whereas I think Daniel Jones is going to be like a 3rd round pick, maybe, maybe even, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, I think it's probably in that ballpark for startups. And I don't know that we're going to see that from, some other players that, you might think you should trade Daniel Jones for. I just think Daniel Jones right now is giving you both the value where his value is going to go up this offseason, and he's giving you the production, which he is likely to continue to produce for you this year. He's both a rebuild and a contender buy right now.
Totally. Over 20 fantasy points per game for Danny Dimes right now. Well done, dude.
Crazy.
I'm like I'm thinking about trade offers for Daniel Jones right now.
Totally, man. I'm very he's probably cheaper than the production, right? And so to your point, though, to your question there, Joe, right ahead of him at 16, I have JJ McCarthy, 15, Brock Purdy, 14, Jordan Love, 13, Dak Prescott, then Baker, then Bo Nix.
What about behind him?
Behind him, I have Goff at 18, Darnold at 19. You guys are going to hate this. Kyler at 20.
Yeah, no, it's fine. That's why I have him too.
Trevor at 21, Stroud at 22.
Yeah, Stroud. Wow.
I know.
Look what you've done to your boy Stroud. Why'd you do that?
I know. It's crazy. Well, it's not what I've done. It's what that organization.
What did they do to my boy?
What did they do to my boy?
Oh man, you know what? You guys made me just realize. All right, so I have Stroud at 12, and that is just a probably dinosaur take.
That's got to be an old rank that you missed.
We'll
call that an oversight.
It feels right.
Does it?
No, I mean, like, just in terms of my priors, yes, I think you're absolutely right. I just looked at it, I was like, yeah, he's a QB1. No, he's not. No, he's not. What am I doing? No, just for the record, I do have Jordan Love above Caleb, to your earlier point. Jack.
I was probably the latest one to come off CJ Stroud. So, like, I wish I could say he's a fringe quarterback one, but he ain't.
What'd you say, Joe, about my Jordan Love Caleb situation?
Oh, I have Jordan Love. Well, now I just moved Stroud down, but I have Jordan Love one slot ahead of Caleb. You were talking about moving him ahead of Caleb earlier. I already.
What are the numbers?
I've got Love at 12 and Caleb at 13.
Right in there.
You know what though? I'd rather have Stroud than Caleb. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I think
Wow, dude. Fuck me, man.
I just don't think Stroud sucks. I don't think Stroud is bad.
So either. I think his situation is bad. Like everything but his offensive line, but it turns out that's really fucking important for him,
Well, I don't know. They looked pretty good last week.
Last week.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know. I can't like adjust my dynasty rankings off 1 week's. You know what I mean?
He's been okay for the last like month.
Joe.
We need to get Joe some help.
Joe.
All right. I moved.
I've been monitoring this, Joe. I've been monitoring this. Like,
all right.
he had 300 yards last week, but that was the first time since like week 4 of 2024, and only the 4th time in his career he's had 300 yards. Man, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to. Well, I am kind of trying to poo-poo it, but the last 2 weeks, his only 20-point performances of the season, and so like he can probably come be like a top 16 quarterback ceiling. But I don't know about 12. And I mean, it's preference. You can have him ranked wherever you want. So fuck me, Joe.
Week 5, he had week 5, he had 28 fantasy points. He was the QB1 on the week. Last week he had 22.
Oh, my weeks weren't sorted. Sorry, my weeks weren't sorted properly. Sorry. 22,
Caleb,
and then week 5.
By the way, Caleb's still at quarterback 9 on keep trade cut. He is falling, but that's very interesting. Is the tier below him is like Baker Mayfield, Jordan Love, Jackson Dart. I would think that I would definitely take trades for Bo Nix, Baker Mayfield, Jordan Love, Jackson Dart, all those guys. Especially if I get a little bit of profit for Caleb Williams.
CJ Stroud right now is the QB 17 in points per game. I just want to make that clear. And he's 0.1 behind Caleb Williams, Jared Goff, and Aaron Rodgers. So I don't know. I think it's like closer than you guys think. I think they just got the stink on them.
See, I think it's further apart than just this season tells us, but that's okay. I think CJ Stroud has it in his realm of possibilities, though. I will say that if some things go right around him. Should we move on to some running backs, boys?
Yeah, let's do it.
What's that?
Sure.
Okay, let's move on to some running backs here, boys. I think we've talked a lot about these guys, so you tell me how deep we want to go into these guys, but I think it pertinent for us to take a look at this rookie class because coming into the season, I think we probably all had like at least 4 of them in like our top 15 dynasty running backs. And I think it'd be good for us to check in to see where they are sitting right now. So I think it's safe to say for us that Ashton Jeanty is still our top rookie running back in dynasty. Where do you guys have him?
3.
Same.
Yeah.
It just seems like the only fitting spot, right? Because for me, at 4, I have Saquon in a tier of his own. And above Ashton Jeanty, I have Bijan and Gibbs.
Yep.
Too hard to get him above Bijan and Gibbs. And I'm not going to put him below the age and the mileage of Saquon Barkley. So it just seems like it's the only spot for Jeanty pretty much.
Pretty kind of tempting to put Jonathan Taylor back in the top 3, honestly. It's pretty tempting, but running backs, it can be gone so quick, and we've just got so much more runway with Jeanty that he's the more valuable asset.
Mm-hmm. Okay, go ahead, Jax.
Wait, you have Saquon above JT? How is that even?
Yeah, maybe I'm laggy a little bit.
Laggy? I mean, JT's having the best season, and
Totally.
I mean,
Saquon did that last year.
No, JT has more touchdowns now than Saquon.
I get it. But Saquon was doing what JT is doing right now last year. And so I think this stuff can fluctuate, right? Like this doesn't say that JT is going to be doing this every single season.
I want to clarify. JT is doing way more than Saquon was doing last year. He has 3 touchdown games, if I'm not mistaken. He has busted off so many long ones. Like it is eclipsing Saquon's year by quite a bit, in my opinion. I think last year Saquon was the running back 1. But like this is like a banner year, obviously, for JT as last year was for Saquon. But like it's
so that's just what I mean. Like I'm not saying statistical profile. I'm saying like out of this world season is basically what I mean, right? And so I don't know if JT is going to have that out of this world season year over year. But as we were just talking about Danny Dimes and the continuity and the offense that's being run here, I'm going to put that more into consideration, boys. So
yeah. And he's younger.
He's my dynasty running back 4.
Yeah, and he's younger. Saquon. Yes, there we go.
There you go.
I have Saquon at running back 14.
I'm at 11.
14.
Yeah, like
See,
I don't even understand.
Does
like,
this next couple of year window mean nothing though?
What is he's not doing anything for anybody right now. He's not winning anybody anything.
Yeah, but you think that's going to be the norm for him? You think he's going to be not putting up big weeks just consistently, or do you think there is any semblance of bounce back? Because I think the bounce back for Saquon is a fat one.
I
Maybe.
It's
actually
not
think
just like middling. It's like he's going to be doing what JT's doing right now.
I think that the Eagles running game is very broken right now, and I absolutely think that Saquon can get back to that level. It's kind of hilarious. It's like they're always in shotgun when they pass, and they're always under center when they run, and it's like just wildly predictable. And so that's more Saquon's problem than anything. So yes, like from a skill standpoint, he can absolutely get back up and out. But
where's he on keep trade cut?
Let me look. Hold on.
He's like 29, right? So it's like, and he's a super athlete. So he's one of these dudes that can go till he's 32, 33, probably. But JT's younger. And
yeah, no, that's fair. I got him above now. I'm just not as low as you guys on Saquon because I'm sure there's probably some Eagles take in there, I guess, but I just think that ceiling can still be there within this offense.
JT is 3 ahead of Genty. Saquon is 10.
10. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to have to revisit some of that, boys. I'm going to have to revisit. This is good. That's why we do this, right? That's why we do this.
That's funny. I just
keep moving with these.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Let's keep moving with these rookies, boys.
Down, but yeah.
Yeah. So my next rookie is Quinshon Judkins. I have him at running back 9. I have him a couple of spots ahead of Omarion, who's at 12. I just think Quinshon has more avenue to catch some passes for the Browns, and I think we've seen at least the same rushing upside in Quinshon so far. Do you guys have the same second Dynasty rookie running back, or is it somebody different?
I've got Hampton at 8 and Quinshon at 9. So I still have Quinshon at 9. I'm just not discounting Hampton just because he's hurt. I think the value is still there. He was just starting to come on as unfortunate timing. Fun offense.
Totally.
Great ecosystem. Yeah.
And I think my knock for Omarion isn't the injury. It's more the lack of Pat's catching that I have forecasted for him, which could change on a dime. Absolutely. But it's just what I know now. Jax?
Yeah, I've got Omarion, Judkins, and Travion still kind of clustered together right around 10. But, obviously with Omarion hurt, Judkins now hurt, Travion not playing, they're not very fun to roster.
Hey, quick detour. Since we're talking about Omarion, though, where's Kimani these days, guys?
Up. Definitely up.
Way up.
I mean,
Jax, let's start with you. You're the Kimani evangelist.
Yeah. So as I'm looking at it, I don't know how high I can move him because I haven't moved him all the way up. Like, yeah, boy.
I mean, let's be realistic about what all the way up is, right? Because he's still going to be the backup to Omarion Hampton long term. I think what he's done is solidified himself as that. So I think he'll have some spot start and some injury kind of viability down like throughout the long term. Right now, obviously, he's fucking awesome. But what do you think, Jax?
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. I don't know, do you want him ahead of Alvin Kamara?
No. I have one spot ahead of Alvin Kamara.
Ahead.
Right? Mm-hmm.
That's
it's
fucked.
Close.
That is fucked. I've got him what's the spot too, Joe?
31.
30s, yeah.
Oh my God, you guys are fucking dude, if you guys realistically, if we have a guy in the 30s right now, we think that he can be a top 24 running back within the next 2 seasons.
He's been a top 24 running back for 3 weeks.
Dude, give me a fucking break. 3 weeks as an injury fill-in for Omarion Hampton.
He's a second-year player also.
Is telling you that but what kind of outlier is it if he is a top 24 running back at any point in his career?
Like a Jordan Mason outlier?
Guys,
do you think Alvin Kamara has a chance to be a top 24 running back in the next 3 years.
Yeah,
No.
more than Kimani Vidal. More than Kimani Vidal. Absolutely. You guys don't?
Nah, I mean
That's insane.
that offense is a disaster.
He's not gonna be
If he moves somewhere else to a different team, he is phenomenal. If that offense gets even a semblance better in 2026, Alvin Kamara is way better than what 2025 is telling us. He is a smashing buy low to me, I think. This is crazy. This is the craziest one, boys. Kimani Vidal in your top 30 running backs.
I've got him at 31. I just think like Kamara, I love Kamara as much as anybody. I don't think he's like in a redraft league. I don't think he's a startable player, right? Like
right now he's totally. And I think like that's why with a dynasty ranking, we're not only talking about what's happening right now, right? And I think Kimani Vidal in the 30s is only talking about what's happening right now because he is realistic. So to you, he has in these last 3 weeks played his way into a top 24 season over the next few years. To me, he has played his way into a solidified career-long backup. You know what I mean?
He's in a Greg Roman offense that always utilizes 2 running backs. Like the plan was going to be Najee and Omarion. Now it's going to be Kimani and Omarion. I can easily see him and Omarion being top 24 running backs in this wagon of the I almost said San Diego, of this LA offense. Right? Like,
I don't think with the shift in pass volume that they've had, that they actually have the avenue to have 2 running backs finish that high anymore, personally. I think this one's crazy. So any of our listeners, because this is polarizing, listeners, tell us what you think about this, please.
Right. I also take issue with the fact that you're saying just because I'm ranking him at 31 means I think he can be a top 24. I don't think it means that at all.
I don't.
I mean, basically though, if you're ranking guys there, you think they can make a jump, right?
No,
I think he just made the jump to there.
Right.
Okay.
In other words, okay, I'll give you
both sides of that.
I did this with wide receiver. You're doing it with running back.
Here's the situation with running backs, and here's how you have to look at it. He's right now a top 15 running back. Like you know what I mean? Like right now, right this second. Now that doesn't mean that he is a top, 18 running back in the NFL. That's not what we're saying. But he is right now. That's one thing. Also, you look at like, okay, Bucky Irving, Rashad White, Sean Tucker, like whomever plays for Tampa Bay that week is a valuable running back, which means that Sean Tucker, even though he's probably never going to be a top 24 running back in a given season, if he gets in the game because there's injuries and a situation happens where, Rashad's going to miss and Bucky's not yet back, like immediately Sean Tucker is a top 12 play. Like, so
how high do you have Sean Tucker ranked?
I'm not talking about Sean Tucker right now. Well, let me finish. So what you look at is there are running backs that are not necessarily starters, but that have this value. RJ Harvey and J.K. Dobbins, Chuba Hubbard and Rico Dowdle. Like, where do you want to put these guys? If they're playing, they're good. You know what I mean? Like, would you rather be starting Ramondre Stevenson ever over Kimani if he's the starter? No. So Kimani almost has more. Let me finish my statement. Kimani almost has more value than Ramondre Stevenson because Ramondre is tough to ever start. But actually, Kimani's easy. He's either playing because Omarion's hurt or he's not, and he's on my bench. So he's either a top 15 play or I don't have to worry about trying to futz him into my lineup. Same thing with, like, I don't know, whether it be a Tony Pollard, who's kind of infuriating, Jordan Mason, Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt. These guys, you think, oh, Ja'Cory's the starter, play him. It doesn't go very well. Like, so I don't know, but maybe that's an issue.
I don't know if that all plays into ranking, though. I don't know if that all necessarily plays into where they should be ranked, because I think
to me, that's how I rank.
But to say that Kimani Vidal can be a top, like to say Kimani Vidal is a top 15 running back when Omarion Hampton is hurt and he's playing is true. But that does not, that shouldn't be the justification for him being a top 36 running back in Dynasty.
Yes, it is.
I would argue with you, Trav. Here's where I would argue with you. It's at every other position, you're right.
Right.
At running back, It's a weapon that you occasionally get to use, and when you get to use it, it can be a bazooka, right? Like that's what
so
running backs are.
give me the 4 guys you have behind him.
I'm sorry?
Who do you have behind him? Give me the 4 guys you have behind him.
I've got Alvin Kamara, Ollie Gordon, Jordan Mason, Tony Pollard.
Right.
Jordan Mason has a better production outlook over the next couple of years than Kimani Vidal in Minnesota.
I don't even know if that's true. Hold on. You're not playing a seasonal game with these running backs. You're playing a weekly game with running backs. Because I start Kimani Vidal right now. I'm starting him everywhere I have him. I have him in like 5 leagues. He starts.
Yes.
You know what's going to happen when Marion comes back? He's not going to start. And then I'll have a different running back. I have Tyrone Tracy now. It's like, oh, look, Tyrone Tracy starts.
Yeah, but
do you understand?
A ranking,
so
like,
I play a weekly
ranking him
game
that,
with
what
running
I'm
backs.
saying, what I'm saying is ranking him that high is not accounting for all the zeros he's going to give you.
He's not going to ever give me a 0, ever. I'm going to have a different running back.
He's going to be on your bench, not useless a lot. You know what I mean? Not zeros in your starting lineup.
A useless player is a player that you start to a 0. That's a 0. We're not playing best ball. I'm talking about maybe in best ball a little bit different, but I'm not. This goes back to a roster construction argument, which if you look at my rosters, you can go through all of my rosters. You'll see that I have. This comes from long time discussions.
We all do. The backup running backs who are going to get some starts with an injury for sure.
Let me finish. Me and Scott Connor have talked about this. I actually am a convert to this line of thinking, which is any running back on a 53, right? And so I have loads and loads and loads of running backs on every build because I know that they're going to get hurt. And, all these guys get turned back around into a guy that's all of a sudden, he was gone, now he's back. Like, it's so hard. Kendrick Miller was about to be a guy. Now he's got an ACL. It's like, you never know. Isaiah Pacheco in now. Kareem Hunt is back to being relevant. Kareem Hunt, I'll start Kareem Hunt this week. I'm going to start Kareem Hunt in 2025. And so Kareem Hunt was on my bench. He was not giving me zeros. He was giving me insulation at the running back position.
But where is he ranked?
Well, Kareem Hunt is further down because he's fucking a day away from being dead, just like Alvin Kamara.
Totally. But even if we're making the comparison to the Bucs, where do you have Rashad White? Where do you have Sean Tucker?
How many more RB1 games for the rest of their career will Kimani give you versus Alvin Kamara?
That's a great way to frame it. How many startable weeks
I think
are you getting out
similar? I think if the Saints offense gets even a smidgen better, like look at Alvin Kamara, like he is underproducing XFP because his team is so shitty. Like he should be producing way better than he is, just like Chris Olave should be producing better than he is. He's starting to now. If that team gets even a touch better, Alvin Kamara is way better. If Alvin Kamara moves to a different team, Alvin Kamara is way
31 years old.
That's fine. Look at what Derrick Henry did when he moved teams.
Here, let me frame it another way.
And Alvin Kamara catches passes.
Let me frame it another way, Trav. Would you take 4 more Kimani Vidal starts or Alvin Kamara for the rest of the season?
4 more starts like this year or forever?
Yeah, no, 4 more like he's the starter. You're starting him, and then Omarion Hampton comes back, 5 weeks from now. Right? Are you getting 4 RB1, RB2 starts out of Kimani Vidal, or you want Kamara for the rest of the year?
That's a 1-year question, though.
Well,
Dynasty rankings
but there
are not
many
a 1-year
years
question.
when this can repeat, though, right? Like,
I
and
know,
not only that,
Alvin Kamara's ceiling, I think, is still higher than Kimani Vidal's.
I think that he can. I mean, we've seen Kamara have a 5-touchdown game. Sure, he's got this receiving upside, but Vidal is on an upward trajectory. Like, I know that he's got Omarion Hampton there, and that's a problem for like assessing his value. But he's a second-year back who we were really excited about last year, and now we're seeing all of it come to fruition. We're just going to sandbag him because he's got a talented teammate.
We're not sandbagging him, but I think we all knew he was always a long shot.
Yeah, but the long shot hit. It's hitting right now. It's
happening
right before our eyes.
We see these hit for small samples all the time. Like, what happens if there is another veteran back that's brought in ahead of him next year?
No, what?
That's in the range of possibilities.
Yes. Of course. When we see the hit,
these are avenues, and I don't think you guys are accounting for these avenues.
No, but when we see the hit, we adjust the rankings. He's hit. Now he goes up in the rankings.
See, I'm just not as reactionary on the ranking.
I mean,
I
like,
just
I
think
like the
that's
talent
I want to
profile.
hear other opinions on
Hold
this
on,
because
where
I
do you
think
have
that's so
Trav? Where
silly.
do you have Rico Dowdle?
I have Rico Dowdle at 38.
And where do you have Kimani Vidal?
I have Kimani Vidal right around 50.
What's the difference between those two guys? I would like to know.
Rico Dowdle has started an entire season for an NFL team and had a 1,000-yard rushing season. He was brought into the Panthers and has looked way better. So I actually would take Rico Dowdle 8 days a week over Kimani Vidal because I think after the season with the Panthers, he can have a competition for a starting role with an NFL team. And we've seen him be really dope this year, doper than Kimani Vidal.
What happens if Omarion Hampton comes back and he doesn't look as good as Vidal has looked the last few weeks?
Well, then I think we were super wrong on Omarion Hampton too. You know,
or maybe
like
it
I don't
takes
think
a little
that's
bit. Yeah,
I don't think
maybe it
that's an
takes a little
indictment
time.
on Vidal. Like if Omarion Hampton is not the guy that the Chargers wanted him to, and they start looking elsewhere from Omarion Hampton, I don't think they're looking at Kimani Vidal for the long term. I think a stopgap maybe, but I don't think he is. I don't even know for sure that he's the long-term backup there, which is what I'm saying. So while I'm saying, yes, you're right that if he does get starts as the Chargers running back over the next few years, he's probably a running back one. I'm just not ready to say that he's cemented as that yet. And I'm not necessarily sure I'm ready to take all of the bench riding that he's going to do on my team. If I'm ranking him as a top 30 running back, he needs to be a flex player on an almost weekly basis.
Do you have like Blake Corum and DJ Giddens ahead of him?
Giddens probably. Yeah, I got Giddens ahead of him for sure.
Are you enjoying all the bench riding that they're doing, all the zeros they're giving you? Why do you care about those guys? Those guys are late round.
He's a way doper talent. Way
How do we know
doper talent,
that?
I think. I just think that. And
Yeah, we don't know that.
But see, this is where we're debating running back 41, 42, 43 versus running back 50, not running back 31 versus 50, right?
So my argument is always that I don't care as much about running back talent as I do about running back opportunity. And right now, Kimani Vidal is a starting running back that can give someone fantasy points in a real lineup at a real time, where those other players that I also like, I like DJ Giddens, etc. But DJ Giddens could be zero, could never play ever.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually been inactive, healthy scratch. Now, I don't know if that's because, the other two, players are, Abdullah and Tyler Goodson or whoever the fuck
Don't
it
get
is.
me started.
Right. But if they're the types of players that play special teams and therefore Giddens doesn't play, and maybe he's actually the backup. But as of right now, he's not even the backup because he's not even active. And we're going to say that DJ Giddens is more valuable than Kimani Vidal. He's not.
I think long term.
But hold on. Long term is a guess, is a wish. It's a hope.
Yeah.
What we know for a fact, the one thing we do know is that you can play Kimani Vidal in your RB2 slot right now. You can't do that with DJ Giddens, nor might you ever.
I'm gonna tilt Trav into the upside down right now. I have Kimani over Trey Benson right now because you know what?
That's fine.
I know Kamani's good. I haven't seen Trey Benson be good.
That's fine. I have Trey Benson a lot higher than you. I have him a lot. I actually have Trey Benson right around where you have Kimani Vidal, which is kind of funny. But I don't know. Like, I think if we look at DJ Giddens, if DJ Giddens is the backup, like if we saw it earlier this season as well. So I think you're spot on with the fact that DJ Giddens is the running back backup. So with that assumption, Jonathan Taylor is down. Omarion Hampton is down. DJ Giddens is 100% the starter for the Colts. Kimani Vidal is 100% the starter for the Chargers. Who do you want?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I've never seen DJ Giddens play.
Good.
Right? I mean, it's DJ Giddens.
No. What you just said that Kimani Vidal is 100% the starter for the Chargers?
And DJ Giddens is 100. I said, if they're down and we know these two guys are starting, which one do you want?
Well, the one that I've seen perform well, which is Vidal. But I think that there's a possibility that Giddens is better.
Yeah, I think.
Well, and the role that he's coming into is much better. There's pass catching involved for the like we think.
We don't know that. we don't. I mean,
what we do know with Kimani Vidal is that there is no pass pass catching.
Look, all these backs, it's so funny because anywhere after like the starters, it gets
Yes.
a little bit hairy. But as of right now, Kimani is the starter. So
That's
look,
fine.
as of right now, Omarion is in a walking boot. So until he takes that fucking boot off, I'm gonna have Kimani Vidal around RB30 in Dynasty.
Well, then move Omarion down from 8 then.
No.
Why?
Well, he's in a walking boot. That's what we know right now is he's in a walking boot. Right?
Yeah, but I still think he's got a lot of long-term potential.
He's a first round pick.
Long-term is a guess, Joe. Long-term is a fucking myth.
All I know is Kimani Vidal. What I do know is when Kimani Vidal gets a chance, he performs. To what Jack said earlier, I think we've beaten this horse to death. I didn't realize it was going to derail us this much.
I know, and now I probably derailed us, but I thought that was crazy, boys, and so I probably beat that dead horse a little bit too much. But
hey, let me sum it up. Anytime you've got a 31-year-old back who's not performing, you really got to take him at a high level. You know what I mean? That's the guy you want.
Up. But if you can buy them 1 for 1, I will absolutely give you Kimani Vidal for Alvin Kamara.
That would be great.
Okay, let's go find that trade, Jax. All right, boys, you guys have me a little bit tilting, but we need to flip to a serious note before we move into these tight ends, guys. We need to pour one out for what could have been with one Cam Scatabo. Jax, I know you said that you had Theo on your show this week as well. I'm like, maybe after the show, we can talk about how Theo's doing. Would love to send him a card or something. But this was like such a sad injury, boys. And for me, it was like the Eagles were playing the Giants during this game. And so this was a really weird juxtaposition because you guys have gotten me into the Cam Scatabo train a lot more, obviously. And like, I don't wish injury on anybody. I obviously wish hardship on the Giants, but this sucked, boys. I have to admit, I had a hard time watching the rest of that Eagles game happily after the Eagles won, but it was just a dark cloud because I knew I was going to be talking to you guys about Cam Scatabo this week and how sad that was. That injury was gnarly. I don't know. I don't really want to it's hard to kind of get into it because it's a sad story, boys. Take it over because I'm getting lost here.
So where do we have Cam ranked? I mean, pour one out. We're obviously devastated here. No one has been championing this man, I think, more than this here podcast. I was thinking about it. I'm thinking about making some trade offers for this guy that might not be able to walk very well ever again. I think I've still got him at 17.
Jax, how do you treat something like this?
This one's tough. I don't actually know because there's a lot of conflicting data points, if you will. Data point, his leg fell off. That's one data point. That's one.
It is. Another data point, he was really dope before that, though.
Another data point, he took off his shirt at the thing. That was another data point. He headbutts people. That's a data point. But honestly, he's a 4th round pick. Is that right? Is he a 4th round pick?
Mm-hmm.
I think
4th round pick. He has a big lunch pail. There's just a lot of data points. I don't know. But I guess what I'm saying is a lot of them are pointing to the fact that I think he could retain his job in 2026. Others are saying he might not because he's injured, late round pick. Yes, we love him, but we're gonna have to take it slow. His leg fell off, so we have to make sure that he's okay coming back from a tough injury. I don't know. I'm not a doctor either. I'll be hitting up Hutch, to try and figure this thing out. I don't love it. I mean, I don't love that he tore his foot off. I mean, this is a real bad injury for a running back. I do believe that he's a lunatic and he's going to work his ass off to get back. But just absolutely brutal. Maybe sadder than that, I just received a trade offer and it came across, and I need you guys to hear it. It's so good. You guys ready?
Okay, get it.
It's in my biggest money league. I have JSN. I give up JSN. Ready for this package? I get Keon Coleman and a 26 first. What do you guys think I should do?
Like that
What do you
happened
guys-
I
just
thought
now?
it was going to be a juicy one. I thought it was going to be juicy, and you were going to have us pondering whether this is a good trade. We were going
What
to
should I
get into
do?
some theory
I thought it might
conversation.
involve Cam Scattaboo.
I just
Send him
couldn't
back a
believe it.
stinker.
No,
Send him
no,
back a stinker.
I love that one so much. I'm gonna say, oh, so close, so close, so close, so close to almost smashing that one.
You just missed
Wow,
that by a hair. Yeah.
wow. I mean, if Keon's in that or not, it's the same trade. But anyway, so yeah, I think it's rough. And in terms of rankings, I don't know what the hell you do. Again,
I'm not even gonna bother.
Theo and I talked about this on the program, and I paid those 3 late seconds for Scatabo, and now I'm looking at it going, okay, would you pay a couple of late seconds or late? I'd certainly pay a late second for Scatabo, no doubt about it, for sure.
I don't know about
for
two,
sure,
man. I don't know about two.
maybe 2. Hey, Trav, check this out. I made this point on the show with Theo. I'm going to make it again. Every year in our rookie drafts, Joe, there's a plateau, a cliff, a place where somewhere in that mid second where it falls off every year. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. This draft class, especially at running back, is not very good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The depth of the class is likely to not go into the late second.
Not at running back.
Maybe
So
not in any
use a
position. I mean, if
second-
there aren't running backs, if there's only 2 or 3 or 4 running backs, and there's 5 to 10 wide receivers, which would be a lot, and a couple quarterbacks, we're only getting into the mid-second. I don't think this class is going to stretch. Exactly. If that stretch into the late second with real quality depth. I think selling your late seconds as if they have some sort of strong value, if you can get good value for late seconds right now, I think that's a smart move.
I like that.
I completely agree. And I was actually thinking about something similar for Cam Scattaboo. I've got this sort of rebuilding team, and I was thinking about doing that tear down method we talked about 2 weeks ago and moving off of CD Lamb, getting like Egbuka, Scattaboo, and maybe a little something else. Just because I'm looking at my team, like I would really like more running back depth. I have a bunch of draft picks. I don't think I'm gonna be able to solve that problem via the draft, but I can probably just use the picks to buy other running backs that I know are gonna be starting next season. Like that injury looks so bad. Like I'm skeptical if he's gonna be ready for the start of the season, right? Like,
right.
That's what I saw too. I don't know if you guys have seen Jeff Mueller on Twitter. He's a doctor as well, does some work with Destination Devi 4for4. I think the Coles notes that I took from something that he had on this was that he's not so much concerned that when Scatabo gets back to health that he can perform. It's more so just the timeline of return. You know what I mean? And so that's just the Coles notes. So don't take me for exactly what that was, because I am no doctor. But that was
rough stuff,
which isn't necessarily terrible, because, I'd rather wait longer and him perform than him have a shorter comeback and never be the guy that we saw glimpses of so far this year.
Just tape it up, Cam. Tape it up. Get out there.
Yep.
He's gonna run a 4. He's gonna run a 4.9 instead of a 4.7 now. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, he'll also be killing dudes with his helmet. Okay, boys. Is there any other tight end for us to start with other than motherfucking Tucker Kraft? Because I have him up as I do have him as I have him as my tight end 4, above Sam Laporta, which not a ton of people might have. I think what he's done this year, maybe they will. You were telling me that there was some question as to whether Kraft should be ranked over Tyler Warren at tight end 3, Jax. And I think there is an absolute world where that can be the case. And I think with the upside that we've seen after the catch from Kraft and the priority that he has in this offense, despite there being roughly 1 million wide receivers on that depth chart, Tucker Kraft just moved up to my tight end 3 in Dynasty Boys above Tyler Warren. I think it is happening. I think the window is whatever for tight ends. You know what I mean? For me, it's the ceiling, and Tucker Kraft's ceiling is everything right now.
Yeah, that's fair. That's where Theo had him. I disagree with it. I mean, I would prefer Tyler Warren. If someone sent me Tyler Warren straight up for Kraft, I'd click it. I would click the button. I'd take Tyler Warren.
That's fine.
You know,
yeah.
but you're splitting hairs at this point. I mean, they're both tremendous. I did say this point. I'll leave you guys with this point to play off this. I said, if you just told me that every tight end was going to get exactly 100 targets, I would take Tucker Kraft, like pretty much like behind Brock Bowers, like he, per target. I feel best about Tucker Kraft than almost every other player. So, he does have some volume issues here and there with this offense, but boy, oh boy, there's no question he can make plays once he's got the ball. So he's a stud.
So I have a question. When is the last time you guys can remember the tight end position being this deep? Because usually it's one or two superstars and then a bunch of bums that kind of trade places in the top 12. Right now, we just named 4 guys, and I'd be very happy to go to battle with any of them. And there's a couple more that I like quite a bit.
Yes.
Trav, you mentioned putting him above Sam Laporta. I mean, I got a couple more guys above Sam Laporta too.
Me too.
I think it's pretty
fair. Okay, good. Yeah. I was just gonna tack on to that to your point, I see like 19 tight ends that I wouldn't hate having on my dynasty roster and planning to use. You know what I mean? Not producing right now at elite levels, but various dynasty roster constructions, I would have no problem having these guys as my future tight end. Who are the other guys that you have above Sam Laporta? Because I'm with it, boys. I've just been kind of like waffling on the tight ends because I feel like next is Loveland, Fannin, and whatnot, and I think Fannin should be up there. So maybe I'm tripping. You guys take over.
I don't have Loveland anywhere near there. Sorry, Trav.
That's okay.
I mean, whenever you see a tight end go for 160 yards, I mean, that's such rarefied air. You just have to take notice. This guy was a wide receiver. I mean, he's basically, I think, Trav, you called him, or one of you called him Darren Waller 2.0. I mean, that's kind of what we're talking about with the Rondé Gadsden.
Yeah.
Intense target competition on that team, and this dude has carved out a role. And now he's like, I mean, Trav, you called this one in the summertime, right?
Yep.
Your dark horse for tight end 1 in this rookie class, and he's pretty damn close. So I got to put him there.
Yep, he's tight end 5 for me as well.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love that. Okay, I'm doing it too. I was just being scared, being a little bitch about it, but I did it.
No, because here's the thing, Travis. It's not like we're taking a player that's like, he had a couple good games, and it's not an AJ Barner situation.
Yeah.
Where Barner's a good player, but this Rondé Gadsden is an elite weapon if he's ever going to be a good player in the NFL. Like whatever he is an elite weapon. Now, if he's good at being an elite weapon or not good at being an elite weapon, that's whether or not he makes it in this league. But he's already made it in the league. He's already shown that he's a mismatch nightmare for any team, and he's making big plays all the hell over the place. So to me, Rondé Gadsden has arrived. He's a stud. And right now, if you're just redrafting for this year, where do you take Rondé Gadsden at tight end? Like probably 5. You know what I mean? It's like if he's young and he's a top 5 tight end for redraft and rest of season, he's definitely a top 5 dynasty tight end.
Agreed. All right. And then right after that, you asked my other name. It's our boy, Harold Fannin. So I kind of feel like we kind of nailed this tight end class. Right. You just got to. I mean, Njoku was playing last week. Fannin outscored him. Fannin is moving all around the field. I mean, he's debatably the number 1 target on that team. I think he is. It's not
just behind Judy, but he's way doper than Judy. So yes,
it's not a functional offense, and he's still finding a way to produce. So yeah, I mean, and rookie tight end who's producing, we have to take note of that. So I've got both of those guys ahead of Sam Laporta, and I've got Sam Laporta sitting at 7. Excuse me.
Same.
Okay, yeah. I got the same now too. I adjusted with you guys because that's absolutely the correct take. And I think this is where it's a little bit different, right? Because where I was talking about a guy like Vidal and the uncertainty of his future and not being able to bring him up there, I think with tight end, these guys are a little bit more easy to peg that they're going to stick, right? Like kind of like you said, AJ Barner, good player, flash in the pan, basically starting because he's blocking. These guys are in there to be what they are being right now. So thank you, boys. I appreciate that. Speaking of rookies producing, what do you guys have on Mason Taylor? Because he's looked really good the last few weeks in an atrocious situation, man. And so I think I'm buying.
I've got him at 17.
I'm at
15. He should be higher than that. I'm still not a believer, but he should be higher than that. Like just based on everything we just said about young tight ends who are carving out a role and what have you. I just feel like he can get nuked so much more easily than these other guys can if they get another wide receiver or another viable pass catcher on that team. Whereas Oronde Gadsden's doing this with Ladd McConkey and Keenan Allen and Quentin Johnston on that team, and in addition to another rookie that we really like. Harold Fannin is doing it with a Pro Bowl caliber tight end and a couple wide receivers that people thought were going to have bigger target shares.
Namely Njoku, though.
Yeah, mainly over Njoku. I think Njoku is not like, I would look at the Browns as being a similar case where they could bring in an alpha receiver that is not Jerry Jaggy that could maybe do that too, right? And so like, I'm not saying rank Mason Taylor up towards that, but I think there's definitely a case. He's been fantastic. I have him at 15, so not much higher than you, Joe, but I don't see necessarily dissimilarities out of that usurp situation with him and Fannin.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think my ranking is wrong. I think I need to go higher. I just
I don't think
I
it
put
is
him ahead of Hawkinson? I probably should, but it feels wrong.
I have him there.
Yeah.
I still have him behind Arroyo and Ferguson because I think their upside long-term is better. I have him behind Turd Ferguson also. And I have him behind my boy, number 11, Dalton Kincaid, who's having a resurgent season. Jax, how do you like him now? You probably still don't.
I have Kincaid. I like Kincaid. I like Kincaid. I just didn't think that it was like, oh, this is the next great thing. But, I have him at tight end 12. I think that's great. I have Kyle Pitts at tight end 9 right now. And that feels a little steamy, but maybe I'm just buying back in.
I'm at 10.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm at 14 on Pitts. I'm still not buying it.
Yep.
I've got Theo Johnson comfortably ahead of him at 10.
Get the hell out of here.
Theo Johnson at 10. Get out of here, Joe. We haven't seen enough yet to have him ahead of those guys.
It's a projection for the most athletic tight end of all time, who also
I don't want to say it, but it feels kind of like take lock, Joe.
It is. I have Theo at 22, so.
Whoa.
Yeah, I have him at 18. Yeah. Dude, we don't know he's going to be a thing yet to have him at tight end 10. You have Colston Loveland behind him. That's silly. I have Colston at 9 still.
I've got Colston at 12.
You're crazy.
I mean, I haven't seen anything from Colston Loveland. Hang on. I'm gonna look up some Theo
He's
Johnson
playing now.
stats.
And boys, you know what's dope? Actually, I was looking at the data suite today and I was just kind of peeking. I didn't write it down or anything, but I saw it as I was scrolling, and I'm pretty sure Colston Loveland has like 51% inline snaps, boys. It's happening. It's happening. He's not just a slot. Boys. Sorry.
I'm capitulating right now. You guys are right. I got to move Theo Johnson down.
This is so funny. I can't, sometimes I can't tell we're wrapping up now, boys, so whatever, but sometimes I can't tell on these Dynasty shows if I didn't do a good enough job updating my ranks or if you guys just swayed me that much. You know what I mean? I'm like, fuck, maybe I should have done a better job. Or it's like, no, well, these bastards just made a really good case. And so I think this is always fun, guys. I'm sorry I got a little bit heated about Kimani Vidal earlier. I do like Kimani Vidal. I'm always the one who tends to get a little heated on these shows, and so I'm happy to be that if it's entertaining for the people. And so
I think it might be.
That's what we're going for.
I'm not sure.
I hope so. Or they're just watching me have like a crisis, which is maybe a different story. But hey, we've built a lot of community. We've built enough community around this show that if I was to have a crisis on this show, I know that you all got me. So thank you all for having us feeling that confident, because we love all the listeners of the show. You guys are commenting. You guys are in the group chats. I see you guys in the Discord all the time. I'm doing Sunday morning Q&As in the Discord now, by the way, guys. I've found that waking up and having coffee before the kids get up is a nice time for me to jump into the Discord. Had some pretty good chatter this week, and I'm not trying to brag, but had some pretty good calls on some of the questions that were asked. And so invite you boys to jump in on Saturday morning and get in on the conversation, or anybody else that's in that Discord. Come hang out, because I have the data suite open, I have my rankings open, and I'm ready to answer your questions on Sunday morning. So just a fun little wrinkle to the Discord. I wanted to bring a little bit of value and get chatting with the people. And so there we are. And so any parting shots before I ride this bad boy out, boys? Tough crowd.
It's been a long show. Wrap it up.
Wrap it up, B.
Alvin Kamara to the moon.
Alvin Kamara to the fucking moon. Yep. Go out there and buy 31-year-old running backs, folks. For Jax Falcone, for Joe Quavius Kuvatakis, I am Trav. Been another good one. We'll see you next week. Peace.